Hi, Ben.
Hi, Carl.
We are going to try this episode again because what you don't know as the listener, until I tell you right now, is we tried recording another episode about the topic of getting out of your comfort zone. And what does the comfort zone even mean?
Well, we just like went way too deep
It
out of
got
our comfort zones.
it got real weird. No, it was like we were like two steps away from talking about healing crystals, and we were like, let's let's stop this here and let's restart this. Yeah, it was talking. We're talking about breath work, talking about the frenetic energies of parenthood, and we're like, this is a music podcast. We should maybe try to keep this
Yeah,
relevant.
let's keep people engaged. So Carl,
Yes.
let's start with you this time.
Okay.
When I say the word comfort zone, what does that make you think of, musically speaking? And what's something that you do to get out of that comfort zone?
When I think of comfort zone, I think it kind of applies to different parts of your life in different ways. I think there's, the comfort zone creatively, where maybe it's certain styles of music that I feel really comfortable doing or don't feel comfortable doing. And that's how I decide, what's my comfort zone and what's not. We could talk about aspects of, being a freelancer and say that, for myself, doing like sending like cold messages or like sending voice notes to strangers, like that used to be really, really uncomfortable for me. And now that's super comfortable and I do it all the time and I have no problems with it. But, maybe speaking in front of large groups still stresses me out and it's still not quite comfortable yet. We could talk about the comfort zone of our home lives as well. Like the fact, I think one of the things that we mentioned in the first pass trying to record this
V1, yeah.
at V1, I was saying how, there's something weird about, being a parent and kind of constantly being on high alert, essentially. And how for myself, I have a hard time chilling out when I do have time just by myself. Because you were saying how one of the things for you is, your me time. And I was saying how I don't enjoy me time because I don't know what to do with myself. And I end up like spiraling out of like either doom scrolling or I'm like overthinking stuff for, my business or whatever. I just can't relax because I'm more comfortable and more familiar living in the tornado that is, having two kids, a dog, and a wife. So I think all of those different aspects of of Carl have different ways of looking at a comfort zone and defining what the comfort zone is.
Yeah. Those are all really valid things. And it is interesting that the thing that sounds like so uncomfortable to me is what is the comfort zone for you. I mean, the truth is when you have three kids, you just embrace the chaos, and there is something comforting about that. Because I think, at least for me, when we had two kids, it was like, let me try to get some me time. Let me try to organize this, and now it's just like, okay, it's great. It's all crazy,
Yeah.
and I love it. The thing I was thinking about a lot was like musical styles, like genres. Like there are and like types of music, and there are things that I'm super comfortable working on. And it's almost like sometimes I feel like it's even to the detriment of like learning new things, and like getting out of my comfort zone. I think musically would be working on genres I'm less familiar with, and like, or artists that are just working on things that I haven't really done before, like that is exciting. And something that I feel I could use a bit more of in my life, to be honest. Yeah. So, and if artists aren't going to do it, maybe I should do it myself.
Yeah. Well, and that actually got me thinking. I'm also feeling like I am more comfortable doing singles than albums. I just realized that because I work primarily in like pop and pop adjacent styles, and it's 2024. It might be 2025 when this comes out. I forget when this is going to be coming out, but singles is kind of the name of the game. And even if they do end up being released as EPs or full lengths, like we're still kind of doing them one at a time and releasing a lot of singles, like kind of waterfall releasing the whole project. So it's very rare that I actually work on full albums all at the same time. So I'd say even that is something very uncomfortable for me, unfamiliar for me. And
do you think it would still be uncomfortable if you just did more of them?
No, I think I'd be fine with it. And it's not like it's super weird. I think I second guess myself quite a bit more.
Mm.
You know? And I think there's the two things I was just thinking about now. It's like, number one, there's a very, very, very a big similarity between being comfortable and being familiar, right? That's really what it is. So it's me becoming more familiar with something is going to make me more comfortable doing it. You know, it's like getting the reps in. And I think doing more full-length projects and the kind of quirks and nuances that requires out of a mix engineer that's different from doing singles, that would, of course, like get more comfortable. And the other thing I was thinking is that there's only so much you can do to intentionally push yourself out of your comfort zone. Like I don't know how much control I would really have in, convincing my clients to do full lengths all at the same time instead of singles, right? Like there are going to be some things that I can consciously do. Like for yourself, you were saying about, different styles of music. Like you can actively try to get, more experience in different styles of music. I can get more experience in tracking. So I do so little tracking, like maybe like once a year doing any tracking, just not, part of my process. So yes, I can control that and I can seek that out, but there are going to be a lot of things that, we can't control. We can't make them happen more frequently. We can't make them happen more predictably.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it's just about like saying yes to an opportunity. Like here's something I'm doing now, which is a little bit out of my comfort zone, is because I'm working on this mindfulness app. I was like, yo, we should make like a sonic tag for the app. Like a sound, like when you open this app, it has like a musical sound that like everyone will now associate with when you turn on Netflix, there's like the badoom, and YouTube has the so I was like, we should make something like that. So now like I'm going out of my comfort zone, trying to come up with like a sonic tag for a mindfulness app, and that's pushing me in interesting ways creatively. It's very simple, but it's like it has to be very precise also. So it's like that's also like, so I sort of like took this challenge upon myself, So that was like a way, like I pushed myself out of my comfort zone recently.
I think what's really cool about that too is that logistically and like from a technical standpoint, it's nothing new. Like the actual idea of recording a sound or like blending things and mixing it, like none of that is uncomfortable. Exactly. It's just like the purpose of what you're doing and the kind of like psychological
intentionality.
Yeah,
the intentionality of that, like 1 to 5 seconds. It's crazy.
That's the new part for you, and that's again like something that you can't force that, and you can't force the stakes. You can force like the exercise of creating a little sonic branding tag for an app, but having the real stakes of an actual company using it with actual users, like that's something you can't predict.
Right. Just this opportunity found me and I said, let's do this. That's sort of the thing. And like, I could have also gone down a road of saying like, let me just make some meditation music for this project. But then I realized like, this will just, I could definitely do it, but then it will take me down a road that I don't want to go down because I'm just going to be spending too much time on this and I don't have time for this and other things. So, I was also like, I could go out of my comfort zone and be like figure out how to make meditation music. And to be honest, didn't seem so challenging. Maybe that's why I didn't want to do it, because maybe it wasn't like pushing me out of my comfort zone enough. But
I think it might be harder than you.
It might be harder than I'm thinking, but I was also like not aligned with things I want to do. So I said, no, I'm not going to do this right now.
Yeah.
I was thinking that like for me, doing a record in a way is less out of my comfort zone than doing a single, because you're working with the same artist on a journey. And for me, there's something very, feels very safe to be with the same artist for a journey, because that relationship is really, really gets solidified, and you guys learn to, you learn to trust one another. And like when I'm doing a record and I've already like done a couple, like a song or two, then I'm so confident mixing the third and fourth and fifth songs. You know, like
Yeah.
you're just like, okay, we understand what the vision is now, and like, and it could be for singles, it's the same thing for you because you're working with the artist time and time again, so you like already know the artist. But for me, like on a record, it feels like this is the vibe of the record, and once you're locked into the right thing, it just kind of it's still a lot of work, right? Because it's a lot of songs, and that could be daunting. Just the amount of songs that you have to, and the deadline that you have to do it by, could be daunting and could feel uncomfortable. But like once you're locked in, like doing the work is not saying that a mix isn't necessarily difficult to achieve, but like you know what it's going to be like. You know what I mean? You know what the goals are, and you can get there, and in that sense, it's very comfortable.
And I think that's making me realize that I think I prefer singles for the reason why you prefer, or maybe the opposite reason that you prefer
Go on.
albums.
Well, I don't know if I said I prefer albums. I
Or
think
at least, like, I
I'm
guess,
more comfortable with. I'm more comfortable with albums.
Yeah. I guess sorry, let me restart that. Sorry. So that's making me think that I might have like an exact opposite feeling, because I think I think the reason that I thrive on singles and why I am comfortable doing that is I really thrive on the conversations and the challenge of figuring out the vision. And I think I start to second guess myself when I'm working with an artist on a bigger project. I am thinking, okay, well, I'm so used to every song being new, every song being unique, every project being like its own, singular thing, that I am second guessing myself because I want to make sure that there's continuity, but I also want to make sure that every song is unique. And I think I don't have as much experience. I mean, I have a lot of experience doing it, but not nearly as much experience as I have creating these, sonically unique worlds, which is kind of how I look at mixing. So I think for me, the reason I love doing the reason I love mixing singles is because I love that challenge, and I think I'm comfortable.
Right, you're not comparing the song to anything else. It stands by itself.
Yeah, I'm comfortable in that journey of discovering what the song wants to be, and I'm not familiar as much with the challenge of figuring out how to get all these different pieces to work together, all these different unique worlds to still work together.
Do you listen to full records, or do you listen mostly to singles?
I'd say like half and half.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
cool.
I don't.
Just curious. I don't know.
I don't actually. I mean, I don't instinctively seek out one or the other. But I probably realistically end up hearing more singles because I'm always seeking out new music, and I'm always listening to new playlists, and always
right.
Like I listen to a lot of new stuff, like as much as I possibly can. So I think maybe by the nature of it, maybe I do listen to a lot more singles than I'm realizing. And then when I do have an album that that really draws me in, like I listen to it nonstop. Like the newish Knocked Loose album I've had on repeat for so long. It's ridiculous. Same thing when Dua Lipa's record came out. Same thing when I'm trying to think back what they were, but like there are some albums that I just like. Golden Hour by Casey Musgraves, Renaissance by Beyonce, the Pain Remains by Lorna Shore. Like there are just some albums that when they came out, I just listened to them obsessively. But I think because they were all so well crafted, I never really thought, oh, I wonder how they're gonna make these all work together. They work together all so well. And maybe it's like a fascination that I have with that because it's something that I'm not used to doing. I don't know. I haven't really thought about this much. Like,
but I think also like it's in the pop world. Like I know like top mixers are just like they're just blending top mixers now. Like if you're like, I don't know, if Beyonce mix a record, like you're gonna get like this person doing that single and the other person doing the other single, and then one person will do like 3 singles, and like Serban will do like 1 single. Like that seems to be the landscape now, right? Like from what I've been seeing, you don't have what's his name, like Brower doing the whole record anymore. So it's in pop music, it's a pop array. But then in other genres, like when we had Phil on, and I checked out like the Adrian Lenker record that he did, and I listened to it a few times, and like that's a totally different kind of vibe. You know what I mean? Like that's like a folk record.
Yeah, and I think like what you're saying, it seems like what you're saying is like there's no right or wrong. It's just what our tastes are, what we're drawn to.
Right. Yeah, it's like maybe like our musical foundation is what draws us to do one or the other.
Yeah.
Let's steer the conversation into the business direction. I think.
Okay.
I think that would be like the next place to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's something that's out of your comfort zone that you want to do to push yourself forward?
I could give a very vague answer and say, be more organized. Because I am my ADHD.
There's a book called Getting Shit Done.
Yeah, I know.
No, I'm joking.
Yeah, it's on my. It would be funny if like I actually own 2 copies because I forgot. No, I never read that. But if I have to think of like a specific single thing, I think that's it. I mean, it sounds like a big, broad answer to say, organization, but it affects me in every possible way, and I think that's one of the things that I'm really trying to get better at for 2025, like through, kind of continuing from the transition period conversation from last time. I am much more aware now of some of the weak links in my business and some of the behind the scenes like systems of things, and I'm working on being more organized. I'm especially when it comes to scheduling calls with my students, being a little bit more adamant about some of the post session, recap emails that I send out, getting more particular about the, kind of content that I'm posting, the emails that I'm sending out. When it comes to like the actual mixing side of things, I am getting much better at just keeping track of the people that I've reached out to that have showed interest in working with me, but I haven't like gotten them to really like, pull the trigger on it yet. And following up with them. But that's because I never was an organized person ever. I have certain things. There are certain parts of my life that I've become like hyper organized, and outside of those few things, it's a shit show. Like I always know where my wallet, my keys, and my phone are. Yeah. And my wife loses her phone and her keys like all the time.
We're the same, dude. We're the same.
But like pretty much anything else, I know it's somewhere on the property. Like I know it's here somewhere. It's not out in the rain, but like other than that, like I have to, I don't put things back where they belong. I don't remember where things belong. I don't do that. So with my business, like I'm really good with my Trello board. Like I use Trello to keep track of all of my ongoing projects. And I have a really good system for that. That took me a long time to eventually figure out. And once I built that habit and it became comfortable, it's smooth sailing. And I think the hardest part is that to become comfortable with something is to build that habit, is doing the habit of doing it, the habit that's going to continue to create that familiarity. And we humans in the 21st century, we're pretty fucking bad at building good habits, just generally. And I know for myself, it's so hard. And I don't know exactly where I was going with that.
So going out of your comfort zone, building habits, to get yourself more organized.
Yeah, I think, my comfort zone is pre-habit, but I want to change that so that way having the habit of being more organized in, keeping track of my my follow-ups or whatever it is. I want that to become the new comfort zone.
Yes.
And maybe that's an angle we could think about, whether it's for the business or just in general, but like trying to move the comfort zone. Like like the comfort zone of, like you could think about like fitness, like the comfort zone of sitting on the couch watching Netflix versus, people that go running 5 or 6 days a week. Like they feel weird when they're not up running in the morning. Like if they like sprain their ankle or something and they can't go running for a little while, like they're going crazy because their comfort zone is going to the gym, going out running, whatever it is. So comfort zones aren't just like expanded. They can be like fully moved.
Yeah. It's kind of like your cold outreach approach, which was probably really uncomfortable when you first started it. And now it's like second nature to you. You don't even think about it.
Yeah.
There's like, there's no friction anymore. It's just like, oh yeah, I'll reach out to this person. And like, just from doing this podcast, I reached out to so many people I never dreamed of reaching out to. And like, that definitely built a muscle for me that I'm way less hesitant to reach out to people.
Because you learn that worst case scenario, they just don't respond.
Right. Or they say no, whatever. Yeah. It's fine. Yeah.
So for you, what's a comfort zone that you want to change? Like maybe was there a comfort zone in your business?
There's two things. There's two things. Yeah. We touched upon it, I think last week, but the first one is getting out of the house. I'm going to move the studio out of the house. And the house is my comfort zone. Like I love it here. I actually really like working from home when everyone else is out of the house, but which wasn't happening during maternity leave, to be honest. But now I'm like back in my zone, but I need to leave and it's going to be good. And I'm excited about it. And the other thing is raising rates. And for me, that's still hard. Like, cause I think it's just cause I empathize with, my clients, because I don't know if I would want someone to raise rates on me. And I realize that rates are expensive and life is hard, life is expensive now. And we're having a crazy inflation right now. I don't know about you guys. But because there's inflation, I need to raise my rates, not just because of inflation, also because of value, etc. So, but for me, that's never been something that's been easy for me to do, especially with existing clients. So, that's something that has to happen. So it's going to happen.
Well, a quick sidebar, Ben. If you log into Studio Land, which you have access to.
Oh, nice.
There's literally an entire class talking about it's called How to Raise Your Rates Without Losing Clients. And I think it'll be very beneficial for you.
I should check it out.
You should check it out.
I actually had Claude, your favorite AI. I conversed with Claude and I kind of came up with like a cool text and we worked on it together, me and Claude. But now I have to customize it for every client a tiny bit. But yeah.
Yep. Quick side note for anyone listening that needs to raise their rates for existing clients. Easiest way to do it is just tell them that like whatever your new rate is, just say, hey, just wanted to let you know that, for new clients, I'm now charging, X per song or per hour, however you're doing it. But I know, but I don't want to make you pay that. I really appreciate you, trusting me and coming to work with me. And I really like, the stuff that we've been working on together. So if you can meet me halfway at whatever that in between rate is, then, I'm happy to, do it for that. So like, let's say instead of $500 for whatever it was, like let's say you used to charge $400 and you want to raise it to $500. You could say, hey, just so you know, for new clients, I'm starting them at, $500 for the service, but I don't want to make you pay that because I really appreciate you, working with me. And I've loved everything that we've been putting together. So if you could meet me at $450, I'm more than happy to do that for you. And what I've found is that, I mean, I'd say no joke, probably 9 out of 10 people are happy to do it. Because I think everybody also realizes that prices need to go up, and especially if they really value what you do, and if they're existing like return clients, like obviously they find value in what you do. But I've seen that it helps to get your rates higher, but also makes them feel like they're getting a deal. They feel like it's like a sign of appreciation as well. So just make sure that you make your real new number high enough that it actually
Makes
means
sense.
something. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've done a similar approach. So, well,
I'm
now I
curious
just need
what Claude, you have to tell me offline what Claude told you.
Yeah. I want to talk to you offline about other things about Claude, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are kind of the two things that I think are going to push me out of my comfort zone, but in the end will be good and are necessary for growth. Like if I don't charge more money, if I don't leave the house, things will not grow. So, and growth is what it's all about. And same thing, like, going to the gym, that analogy. If you don't get out of your comfort zone, you're going to wither away or whatever.
that was so close to being like really like touching and wise.
You know me. I go almost there and then blah blah blah. That's how we roll,
like,
baby.
Yeah. If Plato could fumble at the 1 yard line, I think that's I love it. I love you, Ben.
Yeah, baby. Thank you. You too, Carl. Is there anything else to add to this conversation about going out of our comfort zones?
If you said to your wife, "I love you," and or if your wife said to you, "I love you, Ben," and you said, "Yeah, baby, you too," you would be beaten.
Thank God I'm not married to you, Carl.
Yeah.
But I do love you, Carl.
No, I like busting your butt.
Busting my chops.
But no, yeah, I think I would want to leave the listener with a challenge. I want you to think about the comfort zone, and rather than thinking about it as pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone, which I think is a bit ambiguous, it doesn't really have any any real goal or any real purpose. Try to look through your life, whether it's your creative, the creative side of what you do, or like the business side of what you do, and think, well, what is a comfort zone that I wish wasn't comfortable? What's a comfort zone I want to change? And what do I want to replace that with? And then you can start figuring out, well, what are the steps to take to build that habit to go from, the comfort zone of eating chips, watching Netflix, to the comfort zone of going to the gym every day, whatever that equivalent is for your music or your business. Yeah.
And I think, I don't think we've mentioned this book in a while, but there's a book called Atomic Habits, where a lot of the book is talking about something called input goals versus output goals. And so an input goal could be like, putting your shoes to go for a run, rather than like, oh, I went for a run today, or it could be, it's an actionable thing you can do that will lead to a goal being accomplished, rather than this is my goal, like I want to get, I want to lose 20 pounds, So an input goal would be like, okay, like actually going to the gym, Yeah,
I want to go to the gym 5 days a week or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So think about what you could do as an input goal to get you out of your comfort zone, as opposed to just like imagining yourself out of the comfort zone without doing the work.
No.
But
so as an example,
we're preaching as if we're doing these things, but
I'm trying to do these things, and you're going to try doing these things, and I'm going to use you as an example, Ben. And I would say, you want to, having your rates higher is the outcome, but what's your input goal going to be? What's your actual, what's the thing that you can do to, be
message
proactive with it?
every single client and write them a personalized note proclaiming my appreciation for their service, their business, and how much I've enjoyed working with them, and that I'm raising my rates and giving them a discount.
Yeah. A little pro tip. If you have like a little memo line on the invoice when you send it, I like to still write the full price without the discount, and then have like a little line item that just says like whatever the discount is for like $100 off or $50 off, whatever it is. But then if you have any like inside jokes or any sort of like, little quirky things that you could say to call it, to name that discount, it's another little way to make them feel appreciated. So like, for example, I have an artist that I was working with. The day that I met her and had my first Zoom call with her happened to be the same day that we brought Sadie home, like our dog. And we hadn't figured out what we were going to name her yet. And I really wanted to name her Starfire after one of the the Teen Titans, just because Olivia was really, really into Teen Titans Go at that time. So I was like, that's a really fucking cool name for a dog. And instead, everybody else in the family wanted Sadie, which clearly, as you can tell by me telling the story, they won. But this artist I was talking with, she was on Team Starfire. She was like, no, that's a great name for a dog. So from that point on, when I ended up doing like a discount for something, I listed the regular price and then I itemized the Starfire discount and, took $50 off or $100 off, whatever it was. So it's also like a little way to not just show them appreciation financially, but also show that little personalization, even like in the actual invoice itself, which is usually a very, sterile, businessy, form of, probably the most sterile form of communication you're going to have with a client. If you can even use that as a way to like, show
it's something you have to
there.
do. It's not necessarily something you want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you make it personalized and fun.
Yeah.
Can it be fun?
It can be fun.
It could be fun. Well, Carl, we're going to go for it. You're going to get organized. I'm going to make more money and we're going to succeed and we're going to push our envelopes.
Yeah.
And it's just going to be good because we are going to be in control of the ship.
Thanks, Coach.
Yeah. Let's do it. You revved up?
I'm revved up. Let's go.
49. I have not watched football in years.
I couldn't tell, Ben. I couldn't tell. Bye, Ben.
Bye, Carl.